Okay, folks, as promised, what everybody has been waiting for, the first female wrestler on the E's and B's podcast, coming from Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome in Lilith Grimm. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, enjoying it minute by minute, and pretty much trying to take it second by second. So, yeah.
I feel that.
Well, right on. Well, as I spoke, this is obviously the first time that we have a female wrestler on the Easy Bees podcast. So, for my listeners out there, Laura, can you maybe explain a little bit about yourself? Maybe how long you've been in wrestling, or something like that.
I've been training wrestling for about a year and a half now. And I had my official debut in June. It was supposed to be in April, but 2020. I
Right.
started having matches in June.
Okay. So, not very long. Like I was telling my listeners, obviously you come from Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. So, what led you to wrestling?
Um, that's a funny story. So I'm not a lot of wrestlers you talk to, you ask them like, oh, when did you get into wrestling? Most of them say, since childhood.
Right.
I'm a little different in that. I got into wrestling in about 2013.
Okay.
Um, a, uh, um, I was introduced to it, and I fell madly in love with wrestling. It was amazing. It completely captivated me, and I continued to watch it kind of in secret
Okay.
for a
Yeah.
time. I didn't really talk about it with anybody, and just kept it to myself. And then I've been a performer for a majority of my life. I was in bands, went on tour, did all that jazz.
Okay.
But for a good portion of my performing career, I was a burlesque dancer,
Oh.
and a mutual burlesque dancer. A friend of mine we've been friends for like I think like 6 years. It's been a while. We were gonna do a duet together, and we were sending music back and forth, trying to figure out what song to use, and I sent him Bray Wyatt's theme song,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he was
Cool.
like, okay, well, we're obviously using that song, but how do you know that song? And I said, well, it's my favorite wrestler's theme song, and he was like, did you just say favorite wrestler? I was like, yeah, I know it's kind of lame, but I love it. I watch it all the time. And he was like, you do know I've been a wrestler for 14 years. I was like,
Oh,
wait, seriously? Like, why have we never talked about this? And then 2 weeks later, I'm at New Era Wrestling, uh, managing a wrestler for my first show. And then a week after that, I started training. And a year and a half later, here we are.
man, what a great story that is. Yeah, definitely. That's why I love about this is getting in touch with you guys and letting my listeners hear all the great stories of how this came about because not everybody's the same. And as I expressed week in, week out, I promote you guys heavily in all the indie wrestlers and smaller wrestling groups and stuff around the world because, you have to start somewhere. And not everybody knows your story, and a lot of people don't understand out there that when they see the big time on TV, that then people have worked very hard sometimes just to even get there. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, going into this, what 2 weeks from now? I guess this will be was no next weekend. My fault. Shocktober was rescheduled because of uncircumstances that we don't want to talk about. That's okay, but
Yeah,
all my listeners know out there the Lockett's title is vacant.
it is vacated.
What can you tell me about that? What's your game plan to get your hands on
Uh,
that?
that match, that going into that match, there, if you follow Rocky Mountain Pro on Twitch and you follow Charged and Milestone and everything that happened to lead up to this match, this isn't just a normal match. Like there's some history to the three of us. Ali Gatto and Rochelle Riveter and I have we've had our encounters over the last like what 2 months, and yeah, there's some personal beef I feel between all of us that this vacated title, it means a lot to. I feel like it means a little bit more to Ali Gatto and Rochelle Riveter, who have held the title before. I'm obviously fairly new to Rocky Mountain Pro, and my main concern is just causing the most pain I possibly can. That's
Uh-huh.
what Lilith Grimm enjoys. However, if while I cause the most pain I possibly can, I also win the Lockett's title, I mean, that's just a bonus.
Well, you definitely be going in there as the underdog. Like you said, they've both held the title before. Hey, bigger things have happened, but yeah, I have faith in you. And, here in this special month of Shocktober, I think it just suits you well. And, let's talk a little bit things outside of wrestling, though. How about that? A silly question I like to ask all my listeners and all my fans and interviews is, what is your favorite breakfast item?
My favorite breakfast item. Does a pumpkin spice latte count?
Hey, if that's what you have for breakfast and that's your favorite, then that's that, right? There's so many different answers. I had Hazard on not too long ago, and he obviously says he has a cookie show, and he does sporadically. But he was talking about a breakfast pizza that was just sounding delicious. But yeah, everybody's different, so that's okay. So you said you didn't really follow wrestling as a kid, so I assume you wouldn't know much about Halloween Havoc, huh?
Not too much. I've tried to go back. I'm not trying. I do go back and I watch, play catch up for all those years that I've missed. But that one I'm not terribly familiar with.
Okay, well, that'll eliminate what I was going to ask you what your favorite Halloween Havoc match was, because that's obviously Halloween Havoc here on the Easy D's podcast. Staying in the same realm with horror and stuff like that, what's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oof. My favorite Halloween movie. Well, I have go-tos that I have to watch every Halloween or every October. Which, I mean, the whole month of October is Halloween. Let's be honest.
Sure.
Evil Dead. I don't know. It's not necessarily a horror film, but I have to watch it every October. Is Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods. I tried to watch the entire Conjuring franchise. I mean, of course, the classics, Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Everybody's got to watch those classics that always advertise every year, for sure.
At the end of the day, I'm just a typical spooky girl, and I love all things Halloween and horror, so.
And that's what I would like to touch upon a little bit here this month. I brought you in, but that's not the main reason. My main reason is we're celebrating the first female, and I'm very grateful for you coming on. Going back to a little bit more of your wrestling career here, can you tell maybe my listeners out there, what was your favorite match up to date right now that you wrestled in?
Favorite match that I've wrestled in up to date? I'm torn. I'm torn between two matches. I really enjoyed my most recent match, which was at Respect Women's Wrestling. It was a singles match I had against Athena Estrada. That was a lot of fun, and I picked up my first victory at that match. So
nice.
Yeah, so it'll have a special piece of my heart forever. But I think one of my probably my favorite match that I've done was a match out in Utah at Devotion Wrestling. It was a tag match, intergender tag match. My tag partner was this clown boy by the name of Mr. Versus Lola the Adventurer and Echo, and tagging with Mr. Happy was some of the most fun I've ever had wrestling. Like, it was just an absolute blast, and we got to cause a lot of damage and cause a lot of pain, and it was just fun.
That's cool. That's another thing I was just thinking about as you said that. You also, you don't just wrestle at Rocky Mountain Pro. You wrestle for a couple other places, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't think about Respect Women's Wrestling written down here. Devotion Championship Wrestling. Is that right?
Yes, out in Utah.
Okay. So a couple more things. What could you tell us right now, Lilith, about the women's division, and where you think it's heading?
The women's division of Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, you wrestle a couple other places. We'll keep it local for right now. Maybe we can express on it as a whole after, or both,
Yeah,
whatever. Sure.
the women's division of Rocky Mountain. It's obviously, it's small in stature, but it's fierce. It's very fierce. Ali Gatto and Michelle Riveter are by far, hands down, some of the best female talent, not just in Colorado, but I'd say in this entire region. So, yeah, I'd say the women's division of Rocky Mountain Pro is definitely small but mighty.
Listeners out there that don't know, one of the bigger names that's going on right now in the big leagues at AEW is Abaddon. She, came out of left field for most people. I saw it. I was there in person to see when AEW came to town right before it all shut down. But yeah, and people don't understand. Like even her, she doesn't have as much experience as people would think, and she's coming down the same path that you came. What can you tell me about her? Or have you?
Abaddon is absolutely amazing. She's definitely somebody that I've looked up to since I started wrestling. I believe she has a year on me. She started training about a year before I did. So I followed the second I started training. I got involved in the local scene and followed all of her matches. And she earned her spot in AEW. She deserves this push, and she definitely helped put Colorado on the map and helped put Rocky Mountain Pro on the map because that's where she came from, and we're all very proud of her.
Definitely, and don't shortchange yourself. You're not far from it. Anybody, it can happen to anyone, and you just gotta keep going for your dream. And if that is your dream, who knows? You could be there just as easy as she was. I'd love to see you guys as a tag team on AEW. That'd be great.
Oh man, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Hey,
My only regret, my biggest anger of the whole 2020 situation is that I didn't get a match with Abaddon before she went to AEW. That's the only thing that I am actually angry about with 2020.
The only great thing to put on top of that little bad spill there is they're one company that I could see don't count it just yet. Don't count it out just yet because I could see, maybe in the future when things kind of open up a little bit more because they let their talent do a lot of stuff outside of AEW. So maybe maybe we can come across something like that. But I suggest this: if we put off the Abaddon Lilith Grimm tag team special at AEW, I ask for one match as your manager, and that's it. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, Lilith. As we're starting to wind a few things down here on the Ease of Bees podcast, well, we've kind of touched on a few things I've asked, or a few things I have written down here. But if there was an inspiring Lilith Grimm fan out there, what could you tell them to make them feel a little bit better about their dreams?
At the end of the day, the only thing you need is motivation. And with motivation and dedication and hard work, you can achieve anything you want. I've led an interesting life. If I were to write an autobiography, it would be titled "I Don't Know How My Life Got This Weird." I've been in multiple bands. I've been on tour. I've been a burlesque dancer. I've been a blacksmith, a welder. I've been a graphic designer, a tech support agent. I've done a lot of different things. And when I found wrestling, when I started training, when I came to that first night, and I took my first move, and I bumped in the ring for the first time ever. Like it was a wake up call. It was the moment like this is what I was meant to do. And it wasn't right away. Like it took a couple months, and I almost gave up on wrestling if I'm being honest. Like it was hard. It was really hard, and I was just like, I'm too old. Like I can't do this. I used to be a gymnast, and I'm like I have all these injuries from gymnastics. what am I trying to do? And then, I had a trainer really believe in me, and I took like a month off because of I was just like, bumped and bruised, and I felt sore. And the trainer reached out and they were like, "Hey, why aren't you at training?" "Oh, I can't." No. "Why aren't you at training?" I said, "Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir." I came back to training, and like that, I don't know what it was that clicked in me that day, but that was the day that I was like, yeah, I can do this, and switched my mindset and just completely dedicated my life to pro wrestling. Like, I eat, sleep, breathe pro wrestling. I think about it 24/7. I train as often as I can. I surround myself with it, and I can't imagine my life without it now. So all I can say to my fans or to aspiring wrestlers, or young females that see me doing what I do, is it's never too late to find your mission in life, your passion. Like,
Absolutely.
keep searching, and you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose one thing, and you don't have to choose while you're 18 years old coming out of high school. Like, 18-year-old me would not have thought that 27-year-old me would become a pro wrestler.
Right.
But I'm glad I did. So like, just keep searching. You'll find what it is that makes your life meaningful. And when you do, you'll never work a day in your life. When you find what gives you passion and fulfills you to your core, chase it. Do whatever you absolutely can. Sacrifice everything to make that dream a reality.
That's a great message, Lil. A great message, and I totally 100% agree. As I say here, I'm chasing the dream myself as well as you. Like I said, I believe in you. I think that the great things are in store. I'll be there in Shocktober. I hope to get to see you and meet you for just a split second. Obviously, social distance stuff will be required. We understand that here from my listeners. But as we wind things down with, I always offer up to you interviewees. Is there anything you'd like to ask already be here or put out there for all the listeners to hear?
I mean, your future is grim.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All you lady listeners out there, let me tell you, this is the future. Don't cut yourself short. Kind of like she said in her speech, go for your dreams. Once again, folks, I welcome it. I had on my show Lilith Grimm. It's been an honor, a pleasure. It's been fun. Is there any way for the listeners out there they can reach you at to maybe say hey or get at you after you want to push?
Absolutely, and the honor has been mine. Thank you so much for having me. This has been one of the best podcasts I've been on. I super appreciate this. Yes, you can find me. I'm on all of the social medias. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. You can find me, just search Lilith Grimm with two M's. Except for on Twitter, where I'm at Grim Lilith, because they hate me for some reason. You can find me on Twitch as Lilith Grimm the Demon. I stream every Friday, except for this last Friday, on the Rocky Mountain Pro Twitch stream. I do a show called Demon Drawings, where I draw people with it I take Rocky Mountain Pro wrestlers and I give them abs. It's essentially what my show is.
That sounds great. I know I've checked it out a little bit.
Without giving them abs, because that's how that show always ends up. So that's every Friday at 7 p.m. That time might be changing in the future because we're going to start having our shows on Fridays. So, but yeah, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm mostly active on Facebook, trying to be better about my Twitter, but yeah, so Facebook's really, really where you can find me. I have a like page, and I also have a friend page.
Beesandbees.com page, you'll be able to find her. We'll have her stuff linked to our page this weekend and things like that. Hey, we're looking forward to Shocktober. I wish you good luck. I promise there could be good things to come. I can't wait to see. And like I said, it was an honor and pleasure to have you, Lilith. Once again, folks, that's Lilith Grimm from Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling.
I am the demon, Lilith Grimm. I am the devourer of pain. I feast on the bounty of despair, and you are listening to the E's and B's podcast.